Welcome students, the lecture of scheduling algorithms. This is process management, second lecture of the process management. Scheduling means timing, allocations of time to different processes. There is various algorithm to allocate the time to different processes so that the processes may execute in shorter durations of time. Actually, you want a computer which can solve your problem very quickly. Now, if the response time of a computer is very slow, then it is also a problematic to you. So the scheduling algorithms is designed in such a manner that the processes may execute in a very short durations of time. Basic concepts. Main objective of CPU algorithm is to maximize CPU utilization. Basically, the multi-programming system means various processes are kept in memory. Every time a running process has to wait, another process can take over use of the CPU. Sometimes it is possible that some process may not execute due to some lack of resources. So other process may take the chance, take the time slice to execute the process. Scheduling of CPU is a fundamental to operating system design. Now, scheduling of a CPU. Scheduling means allocations of timing to different process. Generally, there are two type of process. Some process are IO bound and sub process are CPU bound. Which is IO bound? Suppose that in the last lecture I discussed that you have to write a program to count the number of words stored in a file. The file is basically reside in hard disk. So the control read the word, read a group of characters and increase the counter by 1. The reading process is a IO bound process and increment of the counter by 1 is a CPU bound process. Now, some process are IO bound, some process are CPU bound, but sometimes there is a mixture of IO bound and CPU bound process. In this figure, there is a CPU burst and then wait for IO, input output operations, that is calculations work take place and waiting for a IO operations, just like reading. Then increment or store the increment index and write to file. It is a CPU burst, it is calculations, and again there is IO burst, that is IO bound operations, and the series of IO bound and CPU bound process continues. At last there is a IO burst. CPU burst process may have long time durations or short duration dependent on the type of programs. Representation of process scheduling. As you see in the figure, CPU bursts tend to have a frequency curve similar to exponential curve shown above. It is characterized by a large number of short CPU bursts and small number of long CPU bursts. As you see in the curve, the frequency increases it crosses 140, but its durations is very small. So the number of CPU burst which durations is small has a number of frequencies, is a larger number of frequencies, and the burst which durations is large, as you see in the figure, that at 8 to 16 in the horizontal axis, it is long duration CPU burst, but its frequency is smaller. Now, an IO bound program typically has many short CPU bursts. Just like in the last example, I have discussed that counting the words from a file, it only require increment to the counter. It is a short CPU burst, and a CPU bound program might have a few long CPU bursts. CPU bound program is calculations work. If it calculations bound process, then it may require more time. Scheduling, there is a large number of scheduling algorithm. It is divided into two categories: preemptive and non-preemptive schedulings. Now, what is non-preemptive scheduling? Non-preemptive scheduling means whenever a process entered into CPU, it execute in that CPU till the execution is not completed. No other process can terminate it. That means a process whenever resided in CPU, it execute its full time. Suppose that another process come for executions, it do not permit to enter in the CPU. In preemptive scheduling, the existing process which are executing in CPU may be released or terminated or temporarily halted, and it gives chance to a new process depending on some criteria. Generally, first come first serve is a non-preemptive scheduling. SJF, shortest job first, is a non-preemptive scheduling. Priority based scheduling is a non-preemptive scheduling. And round robin scheduling, that is each process is allocated to a fixed time slice. We will study in the next lecture. Round robin schedulings and preemptive shortest job first is a non-preemptive scheduling. Non-preemptive shortest job first, that is called shortest remaining time first. It is a non-preemptive preemptive scheduling. Scheduling criteria. What are the criteria of scheduling? CPU utilizations, percent of time that the CPU is busy in executing the process, how much time it is required to execute a process. Throughput, that means number of processes that are completed per unit time. Response time, amount of time it takes from when a request was submitted until the first response occurs. That means if you give a task to a computer, how much time it takes to respond to you. It is response time. Waiting time, that means the amount of time before the process start after the first entering in the ready queue. It takes some time, so Suppose that a process is executing in the processor. So processor is busy and it is a single process system. Multiple processes cannot execute in this processor. So if there is a number of processes, it has to wait in a queue. It is basically a ready queue, and the time for waiting is waiting time. Turnaround time means amount of time to execute a particular process from time of submissions through the time of completions. This is turnaround time, means how much time it requires to complete a process. First come, first serve scheduling. Let us take an example of FCFS. It is first come, first serve. The process, there are three processes, and their burst time is, there are three processes, namely P1, P2, P3, and their burst time is 24 unit of time, 3 unit of time and 3 unit of time respectively. Now with FCFS, the process that requests the CPU first is allocated the CPU first, that is P1 process. Its time unit is 24. It will get service first, then P2, then P3. Now case 1, suppose that P1, P2, P3 are come as per the given problem. P1 first, then P2, then P3. The Gantt chart for the schedule is shown in the figure. P1 starting time 0, ending time 24, P2 starting time 24 and ending time 27, and P3 30, the ending time. Now what is the waiting time? Waiting time for P1 is equal to 0, since P1 when it come in the queue, it get its service, so it has to wait 0 unit of time, waiting time. P2 has to wait 24 unit of time, since after completion of P1 it entered in the CPU. P3 has to wait 27 unit of time, since P1, P2 complete its task, then P3 enters in the CPU. So the average waiting time is calculated in this view. The average waiting time for P1 is 0, plus waiting time for P2 is 24, and waiting time for P3 is 27, and this is divided by 3. This is equal to 17 unit of time. Similarly, average turnaround time is calculated by taking the completions of each process by adding all the times of completions. That means P1 completed its work in 24 unit of time, P2 in 27 unit of time, and P3 30 unit of time. So 24 plus 27 plus 30 divided by 3 is equal to 27. Now FCFS schedulings. Take another example. Suppose in the last example, the process come P2 first, P3, then P1. The Gantt chart will be as shown in the figure. The P2 process require 3 unit of time, so P2 will be completed in 3 unit of time. P3 has a burst times of 3, so it will completed in 6 unit of time, and P1 will be end at 30. Now P2 has to wait 0 unit of time, P3 has to wait 3 unit of time, and P1 has to wait 6 unit of time. So the average waiting time is for P1 is 6, P2 is 0, and P3 is 3. So average waiting time is equal to 6 plus 0 plus 3 divided by 3, this is equal to 3. It is equal to 3, that means it is much better than previous case. Hence, if the process are interchanged with each others, and due to this the performance will improve. It is a convoy effect, short processes behind the long process. Consider one CPU bound and many IO bound process. That means CPU bound process takes smaller unit of time, and IO bound process takes longer unit of time. Here P1 process maybe is a IO bound process, and P2 P3 is seen to be a CPU bound process. Shortest job fast scheduling, that is the job which take minimum amount of time, it is executed first. Associate with each process the length of its next CPU burst. Use this length to schedule the process with the shortest time. As I said that the process which is requires shortest time will execute first. SJF is optimal, keeps the minimum average waiting time for a given set of process. For a given set of process, it gives optimal value. After subsequent, if you go through subsequent example, you find this. Preemptive versions of shortest job fast is also available. I say earlier that preemptive means if a job is executing in CPU, it can be halted or temporarily terminated, and another process may enter into the CPU. It is preemptive process, preemptive scheduling. Shortest job first has two type of schedulings. One is preemptive, another is non-preemptive. Here I discuss non-preemptive shortest job first scheduling. Example of shortest job first. P1, P2, P3, P4 are the four process. The burst times are 6, 8, 7 and 3 unit of time respectively. Now its scheduling chart is shortest time is for P4. So P4 is executed first. It has waiting time 0. Now its execution time, that is burst time, is 3 unit. Hence P1 will enter into the CPU after the completion of P4. So P1 has to wait 3 unit of time. Next shortest job is P3. It's 7 unit of time. So P3 will be the next of P1. P3 has to wait 9 unit of time, since after the completion of P1 then P3 enters. And in this example the largest burst time is for P2. Now P2 will enter at time unit 16, that is after the completion of P3. So average waiting time will be, for P1 is, its starting time is 3, that is it has to wait 3 unit of time. Next P2 has 16, waiting time is 16 for P2. For P3 it is 9, and for P4 it has no wait, since it is the shortest job, it has 0 unit of waiting time. So adding 3 plus 16 plus 9 plus 0 and dividing it through by 4 is equal to 7. Average turnaround time is also calculated in same manner. 9 unit of time is the completion time for P1. It takes 24 unit of time to complete P2, 16 unit of time to complete P3, and 3 unit of time to complete P4. Now adding the 4 numeric value and dividing it by 4, you get 13. Now priority scheduling. Priority scheduling, in the last example we were taking shortest job first. It is a type of priority scheduling. Priority in terms of time. The time which is minimum is get priority. Now there is other priority scheduling. The priority may be a number or integer associated with each process. The CPU is allocated to the process with highest priority. Smallest integer is get the highest priority. There are two type of priority based scheduling: preemptive and non-preemptive. Here I discuss non-preemptive priority scheduling. As I say earlier, that SJF is also a priority scheduling, where priority is the inverse of predicted next CPU burst time. That is, a shortest job get highest priority. That is, if it is short, then it get first. That is, priority is high. That is priority is inversely proportional to its time in the case of SJF. Problem: the starvations occurred. Some process which has low priority does not get the processors for executions, and this is called as starvations. Solution is aging. As time progresses, increase the priority of the process. Suppose that the priority of a process is very low and it did not get the service of a processor, but after certain durations, after certain time, and the process which is not getting the service of CPU get the priority of execution. Example of priority scheduling: process, burst time, and priority. There is 4 process: P1, P2, P3, P4. The burst time is 10, 1, 2 and 1 respectively. Their priority is 3, 1, 4 and 5. The P2 process has highest priority. Another process, P5, that's Gantt chart. Here P2 and P2 has highest priority since it is 1, and next highest priority is P5, it is the priority value is 2. According to the integer value, it gets a priority. So P2, then P5, then P1, then P3, then P4. Now average waiting time is calculated according to the rule I have discussed earlier. The summary: what is the scheduling criteria? Scheduling criteria means what is its turnaround time, what is its waiting time, what is etc. What is the preemptive and non-preemptive scheduling? Preemptive scheduling means when a process is executing in a processor, it may be halted or temporarily terminated by another process. Another process may enter in the processor's area after releasing the executing process. Non-preemptive means whenever process executed in a processor, it cannot be released until it is executed. What is FCFS and what is SJF? FCFS means first come first serve. SJF is shortest job first, and another algorithm is priority based scheduling. All the three schedulings I have discussed is non-preemptive scheduling. SJF and priority scheduling has two modes of operations. One is preemptive, another is non-preemptive. Here I discuss non-preemptive mode of SJF and priority based scheduling. Next I will discuss preemptive schedulings, that is round robin algorithm and shortest remaining time first. Thank you.